Rel here, and I'm back again to talk about a new film by the name of I Did It My Way. This is a foreign film, and its original title, I want to make sure I get this right, is Sim Hang. This is the original title of the movie. I Did It My Way just came out in the States on January the 12th, 2024, and it's originally was released in China on December 29th of 23. This is directed by Jason Kwan. You're probably familiar with his work if you watch a lot of foreign films. Just recently did Lion Walker 2 and Chasing the Dragon 2. Two films I have not seen, but I definitely want to go back and see a little bit more of what this director's style is after seeing this movie. If you guys haven't seen this movie or you're planning on going to see this movie, let me give you a little bit detail about what it's about. We're going to break it down. Hao Sao is an undercover agent who's been working with Yao, a drug lord, for years, but his job and his family are in trouble. That is the description that it's given here. And shout out to Well Go Entertainment for coming through with the movie once again. I really appreciate you. This was as usual. I like to go into these movies. No trailers, no information, just watch them, and hopefully we get surprised. First coming on, like I'm like, what is going on with this movie? Because the all we know is that there's a drug operation that's happening, and there's a lot of craziness going on. Bodies are dropping, XYZ. We don't really get I really feel like we don't really get the plot of like what's going on until maybe like a good half an hour into the movie. As soon as the movie comes on, it's super intense. I mean, we got, like I said, bodies dropping. There's a lot of gunplay. You're trying to figure out what's going on. I think that's probably one of the best parts of this movie is like I said, the way. I'm just not sure how the director is more used to doing action, but this movie definitely does a really good job, I think, with the gun scenes and the fights. Now, just the overall, like the characters. Let me start with that first. I'm not familiar with any of the actors. This is my first time seeing them, but just kind of based off of what I've seen here, I wouldn't use this movie to like really grade their strengths. So it's kind of hard for me to say this based off this one movie. All I can say is like really, I don't think the script really gave them enough to really showcase their acting talent here. And you'll see exactly what I'm saying. I'm just gonna go through like a few people. We have Andy Lau here, Kang Tung Lam, and Eddie Peng and Simon Yam. They're a lot of the main characters or the actors that are playing the main characters. And again, like the main players that are on the board. Like I said, I wasn't really sure who was who until we got a little bit further into the movie, and the hour's like an hour. The movie's like an hour 55 minutes. So not super long, but it definitely drags in a couple scenes where the pacing doesn't seem as consistent. Where like the movie is like super action paced 1 minute, and then they try to go back and do like slower scenes to try to build up a little bit of story. And I just don't think, no, like I said, again, no fault to the director. I don't know what the script was like or anything like that, but I just don't think that the story and the action kind of matched up to each other. Like it's almost felt like it was two different movies. You're noticing like the story is pretty much them trying to figure out the mole, like who's who. We're going undercover in this secret drug organization. So we try to figure out like who's the boss. The Metal Gear reference. I instantly started chuckling as soon as they said that. Who's the boss? Who's the one running this operation? And by any means necessary, the police are trying to do their job, and by any means necessary, the drug dealers are trying to do their job and do the sale. Every drug movie that you ever seen, it's always like super high risk. Everybody's a rat. Really makes me think about the movie Departed with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson. Not as not as well directed or well written as that movie. Um, but it definitely makes me think about that movie because that like there's like the guy that's undercover, he's trying to get out, he's super nervous, XYZ. Um, and it's just basically said like Chinese, departed basically. There is a lot of I think there's a lot of serious scenes in the movie that is completely downplayed by the musical score, which I don't think I think that's one of my biggest issues with the movie is that the score of the movie kind of takes away a lot of the seriousness of what's going on. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's some scenes in the movie where you're like, man, I probably wouldn't have used that music, and they decided to go with it anyway. I'm sure like somebody had to watch the final cut of this was like, hey, let's just put that in there. Wrong choice. I really feel like it sucked away a lot of the impact of some of the acting and what potentially could have been a really hard hitting scene in some of this movie. Um, yeah, like I said, the action I thought was on point. The fighting scenes were great. One of the detectives who I guess every detective in Hong Kong or whatever, has the fighting ability of Jackie Chan. He's just a humble cop. But I thought they did a really good job of that. I thought a lot of the gun scenes were really good. The minimal car chasing scenes were really really good. Overall, I thought that they hit that on the market. So like I said, I haven't seen any of the director's older stuff, but I feel like he's probably more so used to directing action. Um, the movie also is like the police organization group is like they're cyber drug traffickers. Um, their way of trying to show hacking, I feel like hacking is never looks good in real life, right? If you know an actual hacker, if you know how hacking works, it never looks as luxurious. From every time they try to show hacking in movies, they have to like dress it up or embellish it a little bit to make it look more fun than what it is. The way they describe like the dark web and hacking in this, I thought was a little comical. I mean, it's not meant to be funny, but like it's a little bit comical because like they always try to make it look more flamboyant than it actually is. It was okay. I mean, they got their point across. The dark web's dark web. They're selling drugs online. Um, they did what they could here with that. Other than that, like I said, I don't think that was that was probably like one of the weakest parts of the movie is them trying to convey how the whole operation worked online. They try to explain how like they try to take this to like a global approach. It almost seemed kind of ridiculous. But I mean, look, you're selling drugs. The some of the visuals, some of the visuals, and I, I, I can't tell I can't tell, and yet I can tell that it was probably CGI that they used for a particular scene. And again, I don't want to spoil it. It just seemed a little off-putting, and a little ridiculous. And again, I think the use of that kind of took away some of the impact of the scene. Just kind of looking at it because I can't. If you can't tell that it's real, then it's usually pretty good. But if you start to question it and like you're looking at the scene, then maybe you probably didn't need to use that. Again, did we review the final cut of this movie? I, I can't say. But overall, I did. I definitely enjoyed the movie. I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on it. It's definitely it was definitely worth the watch. Not something I want to watch again. But it was a fun movie. Like I said, I went into this blind, so I didn't know what this was. I always like a good crime drama. Everybody's crime drama in a different region is always different. Whether it's in the UK, the seeing like how the police operate differently in like a different like I said, the different region is always interesting to me. Um, but when you kind of take like one of these like undercover stories and you're doing a different thing, which I feel like we'll never not have undercover cop stories. Like this is gonna be like a long ongoing thing for a while. I think they did a pretty good job here. Like I said, I think just the music and some of the visuals really undercut the movie, and I really think they should have played it a little bit more serious. because it almost kind of I don't want to say it comes off as a comedy, but it feels laughable at times. And I just wish they would have played it a little bit more serious. I feel like it would have hit a little harder, especially because like a lot of this movie is like a brotherhood, and family and stuff like that. And I really feel like they just undercut it a lot with some of the choice of how they decided to add music or add a certain scene to the movie. Like I said, I watched this in its original language, which is Cantonese. I don't think I think if I would have watched it as like an English dub, it would have made it worse. But watching it in its original language definitely helped it a little bit more. Since I'm usually watching a lot of this in its original language anyway. But I thought he did a pretty good job. I don't think this, like I said, I don't think this is worth a second watch, but I do think that this was entertaining enough to be like, oh, okay, this was something. Would I have gone to the movies to see this? Probably not. Knowing that this is definitely like a nice little stream at home or something like that. If you have the opportunity, Well Go usually has like a wide distribution of different options. So if you guys come across this, I really hope you do go see I Did It My Way. Like I said, we lucky enough to get it in United States. But check it out. Like I said, it's not worth a second watch to me. Like I said, a little dragged down, a little long. Probably could have cut 20 minutes to an hour 30. I don't think we needed an extra 20 minutes. There are some scenes after the credits that kind of fill in the rest of what's going on, because I was still a little bit confused as to what the heck was going on at the end. But they definitely try to fill in a little bit more detail for you. But check it out. I Did It My Way. Should be out now. Came out January 12th. Like I said, released in China, and make sure I get that date right. It was released in December 29th, again in 2023. So it's out there for you to watch. Check it out. If you got it in your local theater, if it's streaming, please check it out. Well Go, bringing it to us again. And let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you feel a little bit like I did? Is this something that you want to watch again? Would you add this to your collection? Let me know in the comments, and I'll respond. But other than that, this is Terrell again for I Did It My Way. Came out 2024. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time for another review. See you.